Have you ever noticed that the harder someone pushes you to do something, the less motivated you become? Or have you wondered why some people spend years writing books, creating music, or building businesses, not because they have to, but because they genuinely love what they do? For years, we've been taught that money, rewards, and promotions are the biggest motivators in life. But what if that's only part of the story? What if the real secret to doing our best work has very little to do with rewards and everything to do with what drives us from within? Today's story is about a book that challenges one of the most common beliefs about motivation and reveals what truly inspires people to achieve their best. Hey everyone, welcome back to Inspired Pages, where we explore books that help us grow, think differently, and live more meaningful lives. In previous videos, we've covered books about habits, wealth, resilience, and purpose. Today, we're diving into Drive, the surprising truth about what motivates us by Daniel H. Pink, a book that completely changes the way we think about work, creativity, success, and human motivation. Daniel Pink begins with a simple observation. For decades, businesses, schools, and even families have followed one basic rule: reward good behavior and punish bad behavior. Work harder, and you'll earn more money. Get better grades, and you'll receive a prize. Fail to meet expectations, and there will be consequences. At first, this seems perfectly reasonable, and for simple, repetitive tasks, it actually works. But today's world is different. Most meaningful jobs require creativity, problem-solving, collaboration, and innovation. They demand independent thinking rather than simply following instructions. And that's exactly where the traditional reward system begins to fail. Pink shares a fascinating experiment. Participants were asked to solve puzzles. One group was promised money if they performed well, while the other group simply worked on the puzzles without expecting any reward. Most people would assume that the group chasing money would perform better. Surprisingly, the opposite often happened. When the tasks required creativity and deeper thinking, those expecting rewards usually performed worse. Instead of enjoying the challenge, they became focused on earning the prize. They worried about making mistakes, their thinking became narrower, and their creativity suffered. This reveals an important truth. External rewards work well for routine tasks, but when a job requires imagination, curiosity, or innovation, they can actually reduce motivation. Think of a child who loves drawing simply because it's fun. Now imagine someone starts paying that child for every drawing. Slowly, the focus shifts from enjoying the creative process to earning the reward. The activity stays the same, but the reason for doing it changes completely. This leads to one of the book's most important ideas: there are two kinds of motivation. The first is extrinsic motivation, which comes from outside us: money, praise, promotions, trophies, or the fear of punishment. The second is intrinsic motivation, which comes from within. It's the satisfaction of learning something new, solving a difficult problem, helping others, or creating something meaningful. Pink argues that while extrinsic motivation has its place, intrinsic motivation is what produces our best work. History supports this idea. Many of humanity's greatest discoveries weren't made because someone promised a bonus. Scientists spent years searching for answers because they were curious. Artists created masterpieces because they felt inspired. Writers filled blank pages because they had stories that needed to be told. Inventors kept experimenting because they believed they could improve the world. They were driven by something much deeper than money. Of course, money still matters. We all need financial security, and fair pay is essential. But Pink explains that once people are paid fairly, simply increasing their salary doesn't automatically increase creativity, passion, or satisfaction. After a certain point, people begin searching for something more meaningful. They want work that challenges them, helps them grow, and gives them a sense of purpose. Through years of research, Daniel Pink discovered that lasting motivation is built on three powerful pillars: autonomy, mastery, and purpose. Together, these three ideas explain why some people stay motivated for years while others quickly lose interest. The first pillar is autonomy, the desire to have control over our own lives and decisions. Imagine two employees. One is told exactly what to do every minute of the day, with no freedom to make decisions. The other is trusted to organize their work, solve problems in their own way, and choose the best approach to achieve the same goal. Which employee is more likely to feel motivated and engaged? The answer is obvious. Human beings naturally want ownership over what they do. We want to believe that our choices matter. Pink shares examples of companies that stopped controlling every detail of their employees' work and instead gave them more freedom. Employees were allowed to decide how to approach projects, manage their schedules, and develop new ideas. The result wasn't lower productivity, it was greater innovation, higher engagement, and happier employees. When people feel trusted, they become more committed because the work feels like their own. Autonomy isn't about doing whatever you want without responsibility. It's about having the freedom to choose the best path toward a meaningful goal. And with that freedom comes accountability. When you make your own decisions, you naturally care more about the outcome because it reflects your own effort. Think about two students working on the same assignment. One must follow rigid instructions with no room for creativity. The other is given the same objective but is free to decide how to complete it. Which student is more likely to enjoy the project? Which one is more likely to produce something original? Most of us already know the answer. Freedom creates ownership, ownership builds commitment, and commitment fuels motivation. This idea extends far beyond school or the workplace. People are more likely to stick to healthy habits when they choose them themselves rather than being forced into them. We remain committed to goals that reflect our own values instead of goals imposed by others. Pink believes that one of our deepest psychological needs is the ability to direct our own lives. When that freedom disappears, motivation slowly fades as well. Autonomy teaches us that lasting motivation isn't created through control. It grows through trust. When people are given the freedom to think, choose, and create, they don't simply become happier, they become more responsible, more engaged, and far more capable of doing their best work. The second pillar of motivation is mastery, the desire to become better at something that truly matters. Think back to the first time you tried riding a bicycle. You probably fell, lost your balance, and felt frustrated. If someone had judged your ability after that first day, they might have said you'd never learn. But something inside you kept you trying. Not because someone offered you money or a trophy, but because every small improvement felt rewarding. One day you balanced for a few seconds. The next day you rode a little farther. Eventually, riding became second nature. That feeling of progress brought its own satisfaction. According to Daniel Pink, this same principle applies throughout our lives. Whether you're learning a language, writing a book, playing an instrument, coding an app, cooking a new recipe, or leading a team, we naturally enjoy becoming better at things that matter to us. The progress itself becomes the reward. Unfortunately, many people lose this joy because they're obsessed with quick results. We live in a world that celebrates overnight success. Social media shows us the finished product but rarely the years of practice behind it. We admire successful entrepreneurs without seeing their failed businesses. We admire talented musicians without hearing the thousands of mistakes they made while learning. We celebrate athletes without witnessing the countless hours they spent training before anyone knew their names. The truth is, mastery is never achieved overnight. It's a lifelong journey built through patience and consistent effort. Pink explains that people who pursue mastery don't ask, "When will I become perfect?" Instead, they ask, "What can I learn today?" That simple shift in thinking changes everything. Instead of comparing themselves with others, they focus on becoming slightly better than they were yesterday. Mastery also requires deliberate practice. Real improvement doesn't come from repeating the same actions mindlessly. It comes from pushing yourself just beyond your comfort zone. It's challenging, sometimes frustrating, and often slow. But that's exactly where growth happens. Every expert you admire was once a beginner who refused to quit. Another fascinating idea Pink shares is that true mastery can never be fully completed. At first, this might sound discouraging, but it's actually what makes life exciting. There is always another skill to develop, another lesson to learn, another level to reach. The goal isn't perfection, it's continuous improvement. That's why great musicians still practice every day, experienced doctors continue learning new treatments, and successful writers keep refining their craft. The people we admire most never believe they've finished learning. They simply enjoy the process of becoming better. Pink also introduces a concept that psychologists call flow. Flow is that magical state where you're completely absorbed in what you're doing. Time seems to disappear. You stop thinking about rewards, recognition, or even yourself. You're simply focused on the task in front of you. Maybe you've experienced this while reading a great book, solving a difficult problem, designing something creative, or learning a skill you genuinely enjoy. Hours pass, but it feels like only minutes. Flow reminds us that some of the happiest moments in life don't come from receiving rewards, they come from being fully engaged in meaningful work. Ironically, the less we chase external rewards, the more satisfying the work itself becomes. This idea also changes the way we think about failure. Most people see failure as proof that they aren't good enough. But people pursuing mastery see failure differently. They see it as feedback. Every mistake teaches them something they didn't know before. Instead of asking, "Why did I fail?" they ask, "What can this experience teach me?" That mindset transforms setbacks into stepping stones. Consider someone learning to play the piano. In the beginning, every song sounds clumsy. Fingers miss the keys, rhythms fall apart, and progress feels painfully slow. If success were measured only by immediate results, most people would quit within a week. But those who truly love music continue practicing because they enjoy the process of improving. Months later, they can play songs they once thought were impossible. The reward wasn't the applause, it was becoming someone capable of doing what they couldn't do before. The same principle applies to every area of life. Whether you're building a business, improving your health, studying for an exam, or creating content on YouTube, lasting success comes from focusing on steady progress rather than instant results. Small improvements, repeated consistently over time, eventually produce extraordinary outcomes. Daniel Pink reminds us that mastery isn't about proving you're better than someone else. It's about becoming the best version of yourself. Every challenge is an opportunity to grow. Every mistake is another lesson. And every small step forward brings you closer to the person you're capable of becoming. When we stop chasing perfection and start enjoying the journey of learning, motivation no longer depends on praise or rewards. It comes naturally because growth itself becomes deeply satisfying. That's the true power of mastery. It keeps us moving forward, not because we have to, but because we genuinely want to become better than we were yesterday. The third and perhaps most powerful pillar of motivation is purpose. Purpose answers one simple but life-changing question: why? Why do you wake up every morning? Why do you keep working when things become difficult? Why do you continue even when no one is watching? Money can motivate us for a while, and success can keep us going for a season, but purpose gives us the strength to keep moving for a lifetime. Daniel Pink explains that people perform at their best when they believe their work contributes to something bigger than themselves. Think about a teacher. Their job isn't simply to finish lessons or grade exams. They're shaping the future of their students. A doctor doesn't just treat illnesses, they give people another chance to live. An author doesn't merely write words, they inspire new ideas and change the way people think. Even the simplest jobs become meaningful when we understand how they help others. Pink shares examples of organizations that stopped treating employees like machines and instead reminded them how their work positively affected real people. The results were remarkable. Employees became more engaged, more productive, and more satisfied, not because their salaries increased, but because they found meaning in what they were doing. When people believe their efforts truly matter, they naturally give their best. Imagine two construction workers laying bricks. Someone asks the first worker, "What are you doing?" He replies, "I'm laying bricks." The second worker answers, "I'm helping build a cathedral." Both are doing exactly the same job, but one sees a task while the other sees a mission. Purpose changes the way we experience our work. It transforms routine into significance. When Daniel Pink brings these three ideas together, autonomy, mastery, and purpose, one powerful message becomes clear. The strongest motivation doesn't come from outside us. It comes from within. When people have the freedom to make choices, the opportunity to grow, and a meaningful reason for what they do, work stops feeling like an obligation. It becomes something they genuinely want to do. This idea challenges many of the systems we've built around us. In schools, children often study for grades instead of knowledge. They ask, "Will this be on the exam?" instead of, "What can I learn from this?" In many workplaces, employees chase promotions and bonuses instead of personal growth or meaningful contributions. Daniel Pink isn't saying that grades, salaries, or rewards are bad. They all have their place. The problem begins when they become the only reason we do our work. When external rewards become our main focus, curiosity begins to fade. Creativity becomes limited. People avoid taking risks because failure suddenly feels too expensive. But history shows us that innovation has never come from playing it safe. Every great inventor failed countless times before succeeding. Every entrepreneur faced setbacks. Every artist created imperfect work before producing something extraordinary. Growth has always required the courage to fail. Pink reminds us that failure isn't the opposite of success, it's often part of the journey toward it. The people who grow the most aren't the ones who avoid mistakes. They're the ones who learn from them. When your goal is improvement instead of perfection, failure loses much of its power. A mistake becomes feedback. A setback becomes experience. Every challenge becomes another opportunity to grow. Another lesson from the book is the importance of small, consistent progress. Many people lose motivation because they expect dramatic results overnight. They exercise for a week and become discouraged when nothing seems to change. They start learning a language but quit because they aren't fluent after a month. They launch a business and expect instant success. But meaningful progress is usually invisible at first. Think of planting a seed. For days or even weeks, nothing appears above the ground. It may seem like nothing is happening, but beneath the surface, roots are quietly growing stronger every single day. Personal growth works the same way. The biggest changes often happen long before anyone else can see them. Those who stay patient and trust the process are usually the ones who succeed in the end. Pink also reminds us that motivation isn't something we discover once and keep forever. It needs to be renewed. There will be days when you're inspired and full of energy, but there will also be days when you feel tired, discouraged, or lost. During those moments, it's worth asking yourself 3 simple questions. Do I have enough freedom to make my own choices? Am I continuing to improve my skills? And do I still remember why I started? When the answer to those questions is yes, motivation often returns naturally. Whether you're a student, a parent, a teacher, an entrepreneur, or someone building a career, these principles can transform the way you approach your work. Instead of asking only, how much money will I make, also ask, will this help me grow? Will this allow me to become better? Will this make a positive difference in someone's life? Those questions often lead to a richer and more fulfilling life than money alone ever could. Perhaps the most inspiring message in Drive is that every one of us already possesses the ability to be deeply motivated. We don't need someone else to create that motivation for us, it already exists inside us. Sometimes it's simply buried beneath fear, pressure, comparison, or routine. When we reconnect with our curiosity, challenge ourselves to grow, and dedicate our efforts to something meaningful, that inner drive begins to awaken again. In the end, Drive isn't really a book about work. It's a book about human nature. It reminds us that we're not machines responding only to rewards and punishments. We are creators. We are learners. We are problem solvers. And deep inside, every one of us wants our life to matter. Daniel Pink leaves us with a hopeful vision of the future, a world where schools encourage curiosity instead of memorization, workplaces value creativity instead of control, leaders inspire instead of command, and success is measured not only by what we earn but also by who we become. That's the true message of Drive. Success isn't built by chasing rewards. It's built by discovering work that makes you feel alive. When autonomy gives you freedom, mastery helps you grow, and purpose gives your life meaning, motivation stops being something you constantly search for. it becomes part of who you are. So that's the story of Drive, the surprising truth about what motivates us by Daniel H. Pink, a book that reminds us that the greatest source of motivation isn't found in money, titles, or rewards. It's found within ourselves, in our desire to learn, to improve, and to contribute to something greater than ourselves. If you enjoyed this book summary and found it valuable, don't forget to subscribe to Inspired Pages. Every week, we explore best-selling books that can change the way you think, work, and live. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which of the 3 pillars do you think is most important in your life? Autonomy, mastery, or purpose? And if you know someone who feels stuck, unmotivated, or uncertain about their future, share this video with them. Sometimes, one powerful idea at the right moment can completely change the direction of a person's life. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and never stop becoming the best version of yourself.